There truthfully wasn't a whole lot of hype coming into the 2020 edition of WWE Hell in a Cell. There weren't many matches announced, and of the ones that were, 2 of them were rematches from Clash of Champions that were just put inside the demonic structure that is Hell in a Cell instead. But as the show came to its conclusion Sunday night, it was clear that there was a lot more to this show than many people predicted going in. With plenty of interesting storylines coming out of the show to fill both the Raw and Smackdown shows heading into Survivor Series, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. Between 2 title changes, a potential new stable, and a heel turn that creates a new rivalry across both brands, the WWE Draft be damned. There is a lot to talk about coming out of this pay-per-view. Today we go over the 5 most interesting storylines coming out of the WWE Hell in a Cell 2020. Welcome back to Wrestling Flash. If you are new, be sure to like and subscribe for more wrestling content. Without wasting any time, let's get into today's video. Hell in a Cell opened with the WWE Universal title match between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. It was everything fans could have expected and more, as the storytelling from both men told inside that ring on Sunday evening was second to none. As expected, Reigns retained his title by forcing Jey to say he quit when he put his brother Jimmy in a chokehold, and the still injured Uso was unable to defend himself, forcing Jey to quit and save his brother in the process. It was a noble act, as no amount of physical punishment from the tribal chief was able to make Jey quit on Sunday night. As per the stipulation of the match, the Usos both must now take orders from Reigns going forward. They must do his bidding, as Reigns put it, and if they don't, they are out of the family. There are a few directions WWE can take things from here. Will this lead to these 3 men becoming some kind of uneasy stable going forward, or will the Usos refuse to take orders from the tribal chief and find themselves on the outside looking in, no longer part of the family? With the appearances of Off and Sika tonight on WWE programming to officially anoint Reigns as the head of the table, it should be interesting to see who might appear next. Ricochet, the father of the Usos, seems like a safe bet, but the main question on the minds of wrestling fans everywhere is if the storyline is leading to the eventual return of The Rock to go one-on-one with Reigns, potentially at WrestleMania. Regardless of what happens, this is hands down the most exciting story right now in the WWE Universe. Can't wait to see what happens next. Sasha Banks ended Bayley's historical 380-day title reign of the WWE Smackdown Women's Championship in what many would call hands down the match of the night. With this championship victory, Banks is now the 3rd Women's Grand Slam champion in the history of WWE. But that's not the story here. Anyone who has followed the career of the boss knows what usually happens next. She loses her first title defense. In fact, Banks has never once successfully defended a women's singles title since being on the main roster. It's a staggering stat, and one that is a very sore subject for her fan base. So, what is most interesting for Banks going forward is when she steps into the ring to defend that SmackDown Women's Championship for the first time, most likely against Bayley. Will she retain? Will the boss break the curse? That is what everybody wants to know right now. Between the former champion and all the new talent on the SmackDown roster like Bianca Belair, Zelina Vega, and Natalya, there is no shortage of challengers that should be knocking on the champion's door should she be successful after her first title defense. How long will it be boss time on Friday nights? We'll find out soon enough. The unthinkable happened. After splitting up heavy machinery in the WWE Draft, Tucker, who is now on Monday Night Raw, turned on his longtime friend and tag team partner Otis, costing him the Money in the Bank briefcase in the process. This is an interesting development for sure, because if WWE wanted these 2 men to feud, why are they on different shows? It's been a rough couple of months for poor Otis. While he remains on WWE SmackDown, he's lost his girlfriend Mandy Rose, his former best friend and tag team partner Tucker, and his Money in the Bank briefcase, all to Monday Night Raw. If their goal from all of this was to make Otis a sympathetic figure, mission accomplished. The question now remains, how does this feud actually happen? Does Otis somehow get traded over to Raw? That would probably be the most likely scenario that would help allow this entire situation to make more sense. The only question is, who would SmackDown get in return? But by the same token, if history has taught us anything, Sometimes trades just happen and the other brand gets absolutely nothing. The recent trades of both Rose and Dana Brooke come to mind, so the company can truly make this work with very little effort if they choose to. However, it would be nice to have a little bit of logic to explain why all of this is happening. Either way, it seems like the former members of Heavy Machinery are on a collision course. Watch out, Tucky, because Otis is coming for you. The Miz is the new Mr. Money in the Bank, and he is going to use this contract to the fullest. He went up against former Money in the Bank champion Otis at WWE Hell in a Cell. After winning the match with slight help from Tucker, he appeared backstage to call out two of the greatest names on the current WWE roster. He claimed that now he has the power to go after any title he wants, whether it is the WWE Championship title or the WWE Universal Championship title. The time, the place, the event, and the brand does not matter. While this was one of his ways of calling out the champions, he did not hold back on his social media profile. He assured the audience that he is going to achieve his goals, no matter what it takes. The Miz is ready for his next opponent. While he did not take superstar names in particular, he was calling out Roman Reigns and Randy Orton for now, especially Orton. To make it prominent, The Miz took to Twitter to mock the Viper's recent win over the Scottish Psychopath at Hell in a Cell. He took it a step further to post a picture of the time he dominated Randy Orton inside the WWE Raw ring. There is no way of determining if the storyline is something WWE will cash in on. If the company does it, then it will be a brilliant way of putting Randy Orton in a storyline after his prolonged feud with Drew McIntyre and The Fiend. WWE will also look to bring the WWE Champion face-to-face with the WWE Universal Champion, considering that Survivor Series is just around the corner. A match between the Viper and the Tribal Chief is exactly what The Miz might be looking up to. This will be one of his biggest chances to cash in. If The Miz is set to win a championship in the WWE, it will be the Universal Championship, as it has been reported that Randy Orton is set to face Edge at WrestleMania next year for the WWE title, and currently Roman Reigns doesn't have a lot of plans for his run as the Universal Champion. Who do you want to see The Miz cash in on? Leave your thoughts and opinion below.